Gerry Frigon, President and Chief Investment Officer of the Taylor Frigon Investment Management Group. Thank you for being here. I'm sure both of you are happy to be away from the phone and not talking to clients at this moment. If we can start with a general question, and it may be an unfair question, what the heck has happened? Why is the economy, sort of what got us where we are right now?
I think that there's a confluence of different factors that are playing here. Some go back as far as the Great Depression, frankly, with the formation of Fannie Mae. And the idea that something we long were concerned about, which was having government backing of risk and private benefit from gain. So the moral hazard that's created by that type of an entity being set up, only exacerbated by Freddie in 1970, Freddie Mac being formed in 1970, repeated attempts on the part of the government to try and essentially force ownership of homes on folks that really, frankly, couldn't afford it. That, coupled with some bad decisions by institutions, as Mike just mentioned, with extreme levels of leverage, the securitization, which in and of itself, I'm afraid, is being called the culprit here. We can't forget that securitization has also allowed for the spreading of risk, and when handled properly, is a very good thing.
Explain what securitization is.
Securitization is where you take a person who gets a mortgage and goes to the bank. It's originated at the bank. It's all closed and settled, and then shortly thereafter, the bank sells that into a pool. Or creates a pool of multiple mortgages and sells that into the marketplace. Wall Street, big institutional investors became major buyers of those types of securities. So they were basically junk loans, sort of akin to junk bonds. Well, I wouldn't say junk all the time, because prime mortgages were also securitized and sold. The extent to which subprime has become the epicenter of this particular chaos that we're going through right now, surely, yes, they were junk, quote-unquote, loans, which had attached to them a higher payment, a higher interest payment to the investor. It's the leverage, as Mike mentioned, that has exacerbated this problem. But I think, again, that the confluence of moral hazard, along with, frankly, something as simple as accounting, which has helped to exacerbate this problem. In the wake of the S&L crisis, there was a lot of emphasis in the early 90s. Richard Breeden's SEC put out requests to try and change the accounting rules so that there was a better way to get transparency, so we could see into balance sheets of companies and know when they were doing fraudulent, taking on fraudulent type activities, as many did in some 2,000 S&Ls that failed with the S&L crisis. So the fact that today we're where we're at has a lot to do with just the simple accounting. When Breeden came in and said, hey, we need to fix this, it's now been, 15 years later, and in November of '07, kind of the final phase of mark-to-market accounting, as it's called, came into place with FASB 157, in which banks were forced to mark their assets to market. Today we don't have a market for a lot of these assets, so that's what's causing a lot of the consternation.